Welcome to the second story of our 12 food stories of hope and inspiration. Today, we're talking about a Dutch seasonal traditional. But before I go there, I just want to pick up on where we left off yesterday, and the fact that sharing of food sits at the heart of cultural and religious celebrations. We're talking Diwali, we're talking Hanukkah, Christmas, to name but a few, but all have to be adapted this year because of what's going on in the world, which is sad and difficult and heartbreaking for many. But it also is an occasion, hopefully not just for Christmas Day, but throughout the season, to relook at what these sharings of food actually mean. So I introduced you to Millie from downstairs yesterday with her wonderful Christingle orange, and they had to adapt. She spent Christmas with just her parents and a gorgeous, bouncing, big, wonderful dog, have to mention, but her grandparents at the other end of the building were not even able to share their Christmas with them and vice versa. So the grandparents, for the first time ever, they said, spent Christmas by themselves, but they still made an occasion of it. They laid out the table beautifully. They still had their traditional British turkey and trimmings, which is what is the going trend here for many, many people. And they still shared the passing of dishes to each other and spending time together at the table to celebrate the occasion. So adapting things is part and parcel often. People ask me, so what's a Dutch traditional, what do you eat for Christmas dinner or Christmas lunch? And to be honest, it's not quite as set into concrete as, for instance, the British turkey and trimmings. There are very particular dishes that are eaten or food kinds that are eaten throughout the festive season, and I've shared some of those, and other members have shared some of those in the group already. Spice nuts, almond spice wrapped in puff pastry or in a stollen. But on Christmas Day, there's not really any particular go-to dish, except in my family, we always had rabbit. And it was my grandma's recipe, which my mum kept making. My dad loved it. Very simple with certain trimmings. So for us, that was traditional. And we had it for Christmas, New Year, Easter, Christmas, New Year, Easter, until my brother and I got pretty fed up with it. But anyway, so game is pretty big as well. One particular Dutch tradition I want to talk about today, which is all in the context of sharing as well, is called gourmetten. It's like gourmet, but then we make a verb of it because it's actually something you not just eat, but you do and you share. So what is it? It's basically table grilling. So it's a big hot plate set in the center of the table with bits of all sorts, meat, fish, prawns, vegetables, a pancake mix, etc., which you grill yourself on this hot plate in the center of the table. The basic version is just a hot plate, but there are versions where you have little pans which you put underneath so you get top heat. And then you can grill things. You can make little pancakes. You can grill cheese and have it like a bit like a raclette with potatoes. And it is really funny. I'm on a fair few Facebook groups of Dutch people across the world, also in the UK, etc. And throughout this season, especially around Christmas, I see more and more pictures of, we did gourmetten. Oh, we've done gourmetten. Oh, so looking forward to gourmetten. It's so popular in the Netherlands that you buy literally ready-made selection packs already with your little sausages, your little steak, your little this, marinated already often. And I see people in these Facebook groups going, oh, where do I get a gourmet packet in the UK? And then it's like, you can make it yourself. My story of gourmet is a little different. We never did that at home. I knew of it, but it's not been part necessarily of my own family history throughout the season. In fact, I only ever bought my first gourmet thing. What do you call it? A gourmet set. It was a big, big, big one with a plate and the little pans, and even had to get rid of the plate, put a fondue set on there. So it's all singing and dancing. I only bought that in December 2012. My first gourmet thing set, thingamy-bob. Because the plan was that my mother would come over from Belgium, where I've grown up, despite being Dutch, different story. And we would spend a rare Christmas together. It was in the times where we could still travel, right? And I had arranged for my brother to join us as a surprise. Mum didn't know about this at all. So I had this thing ready, hadn't even fully unboxed it yet. And then beginning of that same December 2012, sadly, we got the news that Mum had been diagnosed with cancer. So Christmas got adapted, just like we did this year. I told my brother, best cancel the flight. It ain't looking good. So instead of my first gourmet with my mum and brother, instead, at Christmas that year in 2012, I was in the hospital. The big box with the gourmet set was left out in my bedroom for some reason, but I have no idea why. I returned from Belgium after Mum's first cancer operation in, will you believe it, late February 2013, to still find the gourmet set sitting in my bedroom. My heart sunk because I realized what that would have meant, and not knowing if ever that would be in use with my mum and my brother. And just to let you know, it didn't. So at the end of that year, I thought, right, I'm going to introduce some British friends of mine who know nothing about gourmet to this Dutch whatever. And we did it New Year's Eve 2013. And it was magical. All this stuff laid out, just taking time to sit at the table to share not just food, but share cooking and letting them cook their own food. Although I won't take away, there's quite a lot of prep involved in my case, but another story. I'll post in the Facebook group, by the way, about that. And so you can see the set and what I tend to serve with it to give you an idea. So I introduced these friends of mine, and they absolutely loved it. I thought, right, great. So I'd use another set of friends to gourmet, English friends, never seen it, never done it. They actually ordered their own gourmet set while they were still sitting at the table. We hadn't even got around to dessert. I also introduced it into my private chefing. I have had, for instance, a wonderful hen party I did, gosh, mid last year, something like that. Actually, no, around about exactly a year ago. And they wanted all the trimmings. I kept telling them, if you do gourmet, it takes time, because the whole point is that you share and you sit together and you enjoy the food, the company, passing dishes. Actually, shall I put a little sausage on for you while you're there, hun? Okay, fine, excellent, let's do that. But they wanted all the trimmings. We want champagne and canapes, so they got champagne and canapes. We want a starter. I kept saying, you don't need a starter. They got a starter. Then we went on to the gourmet. It finished with a dessert. I kept saying, you don't need all this stuff, trust me. No, they wanted all the trimmings. By the time I served up their coffee cocktail, a take on a, Irish coffee kind of, but a Spanish version, They couldn't, they couldn't move. Bless them. They had the most wonderful, wonderful time. And I'll post a picture in the Facebook group as well. But it just reminds you that plans change. And we've realized, I think, especially this year, how important the sharing of food is. Sitting down with family and friends. And sadly, for most of us, that has been limited. But there will come another year. There will come another time when you can. And even within the small group or the small community you're in, I was on my own yesterday, but I still made a semi-effort my way. It was my day off. You can make something of that and look forward again to the sharing of food, okay? So to share it with others is, I guess, the nicest way to enjoy food. And the whole purpose of all these festivities is not in the sharing of food, but in the togetherness that food brings to us all. Now then, I think that's enough for today's story. Gosh, I ramble, don't I? Tomorrow, please tune in because we will be talking about, will you believe it, music and sausage rolls. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Join me tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. And I'll see you on the other side. Take care.